Sometimes I feel like this pregnancy has like flown by, but other times I feel like I've been pregnant forever. Hey, welcome to my 28-week pregnancy update. I'm officially in the 3rd trimester. This week the baby weighs 14.8 inches. It measures 14.8 inches and weighs 2.2 pounds. Again, it says weighs in around 1.5 to 2.5 pounds. So I'm not sure how for the last like month the baby's been the same weight. I guess it's just like in the range of like an average baby is somewhere in between there. But I would definitely say the baby's getting close to being over 2.5 pounds. It also says the baby's lungs are mature enough that if it was born, he or she would probably survive. Pretty sure it said that last week. I'm not totally sure. I might just be thinking from like when I read it earlier in the week. Anyways, let's jump into my symptoms. I don't have a whole lot of symptoms again this week, but I have a bunch of just like random stuff to talk about. I wrote this earlier in the week that I was pretty sure that she flipped at my last doctor's appointment. She was breech, so she was head up. I think I talked about that in whatever week update that was. And I knew there was lots of time, but I was definitely worried. And then I think it was probably about a week ago. It was, yeah, because I don't remember, I don't think I talked about it in my last week update, so it must have been like within the last week. I think it was like on the weekend. I felt like she had flipped. I've heard some women actually feel the baby flip, which I didn't really notice. I just felt like she had flipped because I was feeling her kicks like in different places. I'm pretty sure my placenta, I have an anterior placenta, I've talked about this a million times, meaning it's in the front between the baby and my stomach lining. I'm pretty sure that was like right in the middle of my stomach, if that makes sense, because I've always felt her very low down, and I was always feeling what I assumed were kicks because her feet were down, very low down, like on the almost underneath of my stomach. And then recently, like early on the weekend or whatever, after I filmed my last week's video, I started noticing that I wasn't feeling her down low anymore, and I was feeling her sort of like up on this side, like up higher. I'll show you after. And so I don't know, I was just feeling her differently, so I felt like she had flipped. And then at my doctor's appointment, it was confirmed that she had flipped. So I'm very excited about that. I'm pretty sure I felt her have the hiccups a couple times. It's hard to say because I don't remember feeling them this early with Grace. It was like way later on, like almost like full term, that I remember feeling them with her, and I felt them with her many times, but like I said, not this early. So I don't know for sure if it was that, but I was feeling like a repetitive like kick sensation, like repetitively, I guess. I don't know how to describe that. Repetitively, like the hiccups. Then the other thing, something I've never mentioned on here is that I'm pretty sure for like months now, I was gonna say weeks, but I'm pretty sure it's been more like months, I've been having Braxton Hicks contractions, which are like practice contractions. They're not painful. I don't ever remember having them with Grace, so I never really knew what they were. So I wasn't really sure if that's what I was feeling, but I'm pretty sure that is what it is. I have them just like randomly on and off, some weeks more than others. This week I haven't really noticed them, but I just, when I was writing things down, thought that I should mention this because it's something that I haven't really talked about up until now. Like one side of my stomach will, like my stomach will go more hard, and one side will be like protruding, if that makes sense, which like would have been her head when she was flipped the other way, now would be like her bum sticking out because my stomach is sort of going tighter with the contraction like around her body, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening anyways. The biggest symptom that I've been having is my feet are sore, and I know, like I've mentioned, every time I talk about sore feet, it's partially from wearing flip-flops, but it's just pregnancy related at this point as well. Now my feet are sore all the time. They're really sore like at night, and when I wake up in the morning. I'm not really sure why they're so sore when I wake up in the morning, but if my feet were sore at night, they're always sore when I wake up in the morning. So today is Thursday. Usually I film this on Fridays, but tomorrow I'm looking after a child who doesn't nap, so I won't have a chance to film this video on Friday like I normally do, so I'm like one day earlier than I normally film. But yesterday, so Wednesday, was the first day that I felt like uncomfortably pregnant. I know I'm not huge, and I know I'm gonna get even more huge, but yesterday was the first time that I felt like uncomfortable from like my belly. You know, like I've had sore feet or I've been tired, and like all those kind of feelings are uncomfortable, but yesterday I felt like uncomfortable from my belly. I don't know if that makes any sense. Half the time I feel like if you're watching this and you've never been pregnant, you just won't know what I'm talking about. So as far as my doctor's appointment, which was yesterday, I took Grace for the first time in like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 appointments. She was a mess. I really hope I don't have to take her again to any more appointments, or very few if I do have to. The only appointment I could get was on a Wednesday. My mom always works Wednesdays. Usually I try to book for Fridays, so I'll definitely be booking for Fridays from now on, because she was a mess. She cried the whole time, pretty much. She was fine in the waiting room, then we got into the office and she wanted to leave, of course. Like, who wants to sit in a doctor's office? That's not fun. And then the doctor thankfully came in very quickly, but then Grace was very unsure of her because we met the new doctor for the first time. She was really nice. My first impression of her, and this is not meant to be rude, but she was way older than I expected. I don't know why, I just like had it in my head that the doctor would be about the same age as my first doctor, the one that I really like. So that was my first impression of her, but she does seem really nice. Grace was really nervous, I guess, around her. I don't know. Grace was unhappy, and so the doctor tried to lift her up to put her like on the like table thing that I was sitting on before she took my blood pressure, and Grace lost it. She just tried to pick her up and give her to me, and Grace lost it, didn't want to have anything to do with her. Fair enough, she's never met this lady before, but then after that she just pretty much cried the whole time. So it was hard to get like a good impression of this doctor because Grace was freaking out, and I felt bad. I felt bad for people in other rooms listening to her, and it just wasn't good. But my blood pressure was good. She didn't tell me what it was. She said my glucose test was good. She told me the numbers of what it was, but I have no idea. They didn't mean anything to me, and I was too focused on Grace to pay attention to like remember what the numbers were. I gained about 3 pounds, I think. I don't remember the exact weight. You know, you stand on the scale and like the weight is there, and I didn't write it down right away, so I don't totally remember it, but I'm pretty sure I gained about 3 pounds. I start having appointments every 2 weeks now at this point. Up until now it's been every month, like once a month. Now it's every 2 weeks, and I think at like 36 weeks it's every week. But that's so crazy that I'm like already at the point where you see the doctor every 2 weeks. Sometimes I feel like this pregnancy has like flown by, but other times I feel like I've been pregnant forever. Like, it's summer and I would love to have a drink and like sit out on the deck in the sun or at the beach. I feel like I haven't had a drink in like so long, and I feel like I've been pregnant for like so many holidays, and like, I don't know, just sometimes it feels like it's been forever. And then the other thing about the doctor's appointment is that my doctor, this doctor, my new doctor, she said more than once that if my original doctor does decide to come back early, she's supposed to come back on October 1st, and my due date is September 22nd, so more than likely if she doesn't come back early, I wouldn't make it till then anyways, and I wouldn't want to. That's like way overdue. I don't want to be that far overdue. But this doctor did say more than once that if she does decide to come back early, she would transfer me back to her, which I'm super thankful about. And like, her saying that, just that alone, it makes me really like this doctor, because I was really worried about how I would ask that without being rude, you know. Like, I really, really, really would love my original doctor, the doctor who delivered Grace, to deliver this baby, which I'm pretty sure I've said before. But I didn't know how to ask this new doctor for that option, if it was available, without me being rude and like saying, well, I don't really like you, I want my other doctor. So I'm really glad that she said that, and that's just the way it's gonna be. But I don't feel like she will come back early, so I'm glad that I at least like this doctor so far. We'll see how things go, but I think it's for sure that this is my new doctor. Anyways, moving on from the doctor stuff, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was names. We are pretty much decided, like I said, weeks ago. I can't remember what update that was on one name, but the other like 2 names that we've had on the list that we like but we don't love as much as the first name, I guess, is Ella and Hazel. I really like Hazel. One of the potential middle names that we have in mind is May. It's Greg's aunt's middle name, like M-A-E, which was so like Greg's great-grandmother's name, like his great-grandmother's. So I think Hazel May is a really pretty name. And then the other name, like I said, is Ella. We both do like that one, but I like Hazel a whole lot more than Greg does. Greg doesn't like it a whole lot. I don't think anyone in my family even really likes it, but I think Grace and Hazel sound really nice together, which is a really big thing to me for like choosing a name, is that I want it to sound good with Grace's name, so like Grace and whatever. And then the name that we have really been liking is Chloe. I've been referring to her as Chloe. Greg has referred to her as Chloe. She's been Chloe for the last few weeks. We're not totally settled on a middle name. I'm not sure what we're gonna do there. I don't think I would decide for sure until she is born. Ella and Hazel are definitely backup names, because I think I mentioned before when I talked about names, both my mom and my aunt had different names picked out for their children, and then when they saw them, they were like, oh my god, you're not whatever that name is, we need a new name. So Greg and I have been trying to come up with a name that we like as much as Chloe, as like a secondary backup name in case she just doesn't look like a Chloe. And Greg was looking online and he found the name Jillian, spelled either with a G or a J. We're not totally sure, because spelled with a G is French, and I have a French background or heritage or whatever you call that. And my grandma's name, my mom's mom, her name was Gilbert, or Jill for short, with a G, because that's the French way of spelling it. So it would sort of be like an ode to her, because we do really like family names. But then I'm kind of stuck on like, well, she's gonna get called like Gilbert, or like, you know, people are gonna, I don't want her to have to explain her name every single day for the rest of her life. So then I'm like, well, maybe we should just spell it with a J. And also then with a G, then we have 2 kids with G names, and then is that creating a theme? Picking a name for your child is the hardest thing in the world, I swear. But we've been thinking about the name Jillian for, I don't know, maybe like a week now. I think Greg found it last weekend, so less than a week. And I just can't commit to it. I can't think of her as a Jillian. I don't even really think of her as an Ella, maybe a Hazel, but to me right now she is Chloe. And I don't know if that's because I've referred to her as that name out loud many times, or like I've been with that name, I've been with the name Chloe longer than I've thought with the name Jillian. So I don't know. These are like, those are our top 4 names at the moment, but to me right now she really is Chloe. And I don't know, I really like the name. One of the things that I like about it is that it has the same number of letters as Grace. I know that's like a silly thing, but it's just something that I like. Yeah, those are our top 4 names. Like I said, I really like Chloe. I think I'm pretty stuck on that name, but I don't know. We'll see what her name ends up being. So that's all the random stuff I have to talk about this week, so I will go ahead and show my belly. Alright, so here's my bump at 28 weeks. I'm wearing my maternity shorts. They're so comfy, but I don't know if you can see, there's like that line there from, we have like the band up here, which is really comfortable. Some people find it uncomfortable, but I hate how it shows. I can't tell from the camera lens if you can see that. I hate how it shows that line there. So I think these aren't as cute with just like a tank top, but I think it looks really cute if there's a sweater over the tank top. Can't tell if it looks bigger this week or not, but it feels bigger. She definitely feels bigger. I don't know if it's because she's flipped. So I'm pretty, what was I saying about her kicking? I was always feeling her kick down here, but now it's more up here. So I'm pretty sure, so she's head down, so I'm pretty sure her bum is right here, because sometimes I'll feel it stick out. It feels like harder right here. So I think she's like head, bum, and then feet over here, because this is where I'm feeling the kicking a lot. So yeah, there's my bump at 28 weeks. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's just like totally random, just like not a whole lot of symptoms, just like randomness of my pregnancy at 28 weeks. But anyways, I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to follow my journey. I'll see you next week. Bye!